We're going to get started right now. So what's being expressed is, what's being suggested is that in this immediacy, in this nakedness, in this intimacy, that all that there is this unconditional love as it is. As it is. Whatever seems to be appearing is as it is. I just did a talk for 5 days, and I would like to share what was the most controversial part of the talk, which was not accepted immediately. There was a lot of gasps in the beginning of the talk. So what's being suggested is that there's no soul, that there's no individual soul. There are no separate souls. There's no external and there's no internal. There's no innermost self that is the soul. Everything that is labeled is unknown. Everything that is known is unknown. Soul is usually described as the immaterial aspect of essence of a human being. Since there's no one, there's no soul. You can also say that it's all soul, but it's quite hard to digest because there's this specialized understanding or definition or label of what a soul is, or a feeling of what it is. Because if you say everything is soul, then the war is soul, evil is soul, the car is soul, everything is soul. Usually there's this description that the soul is the part of the mind, the character, thoughts, and feelings. Many believe that the soul continues after there's death, but there's no death. There's no beginning and there's no end. There's no primordial soul or peace. There's no post. It could also be expressed as something that animates everything, soul. You can say that it's boundless. But there's this investment in soul. There's this, what's good for the soul. I used to open up, a meeting and say that this is my soul searching number 1999 or something. No one can lose a soul. Because there's no soul. There's no individual, independent soul. It's one of the most potent labels that is this high investment. I thought I invested in my soul for quite a while as a teacher. I thought that I had a really good investment in all the karma and all the selfless service. And then when there was this apparent happening where there was this suffering, then I thought I was starving the soul, that I needed to do some soulful stuff. I needed to feed the soul. Since there's no I, there's no soul. There's nothing that's a part of you when you're not even there. There's no afterlife. There's no reincarnation. There's no salvation. There's no redemption. There's no self to have a soul. And it's quite difficult to understand that the soul is just another label. It's just another illusion. It's just another fantasy. It's just another idea. And in the story, I used to pray every day, I don't know for how long when I was a kid, for the Lord to keep my soul. And then apparently in the teaching of some non-duality teachings, the soul morphs into consciousness. The soul morphs into awareness. It is something to attain again. Something that is separate. Something that is special. What's being expressed here is the absence of everything. The absence of belief, the absence of ideas, the absence of knowing, even the absence of inner knowing. Because there's no inner and there's no outer and there's no knowing. It's the starvation, it's the depletion of what seems to be known as reality. Since the soul seems to go underground, and there's this underground belief in it. I spent 15 years in spirituality thinking that that was an investment in the soul. An investment in the good. But since everything is nothing, and nothing is everything, everything that appears is unknown. But everything that is longed for is also unknown. Then this idea of the soul creeps in. And it's hard to admit when I talk to people that there's no soul. Because everything that's known spirals down the drain, including the identification that I'm a soul, that I'm an independent soul. You can flip it around and say that everything is, but it's also difficult to unconditionally accept everything for an individual. Accepting war, accepting evil, and seeing it as soul. So one of the last remnants or last residue that goes underground is the belief in the soul, apparently. When I do one-on-ones, someone asks me, how about my soul? Anything that the my follows after, my soul, my independence, my freedom, my free will, my action, my doing, my story, is gone. It's non-existent. Because what's longed for or what's sought for appears in everything, not as an independent individual soul that will be rewarded after this seeming life. And let's go further, there's no life. Life is just another label of the unknown. Again, anything that comes after my is non-existent. There's just this happening that's indescribable, unknowable. Everything that's known is unknown. So there are no soul contracts. And this is difficult for someone to hear. There are no soulmates. Since there are no others. There was this teacher that I used to listen to that said that in religion, when you do your life, when you go through life, at the end of the life, apparently, because of the heaven and hell concept, if you did good, you you get rewarded with heaven. If you did bad, you go to hell. And then in spirituality, when you go at the end of your life, there's a chance to redo it, reincarnation. And then seemingly there's a preference in redoing it. But this is not about redoing it. This is as it is. All that there is this, and there's nothing outside of this. This is unconditional love as it is. The moment that labels and ideas and concepts come in, it becomes conditioned. It's not as it is anymore. How about my soul? How about my spirit? How about my spirituality? This is not spirituality. This is the absence of every knowing, the absence of wisdom, the absence of everything. And what's being expressed is that everything is an illusion. It's being suggested that everything that comes out, everything that's heard is an illusion. Everything that's seen is an illusion. Even everything that's underground that you think like a soul is an illusion. Because the one that conjures up all of this is an illusion. The one that it's rooted from is this illusory knowing. Someone said doom and gloom right away, Emerson. So in the soulless appearance, without any concepts, without any ideas, without any knowing, without any preconceived notion of what this is, in this apparent mystery, in this apparent illusory appearance, there's just this as it is, unconditionally this, unconditionally love. Not the love that you know, not the soulful love that you know, but this appearance, whatever it is. Whatever it is as it is. So there's no one here and there's no one there. Nothing happening here, there's nothing happening there. It's nothing happening everywhere. There's no soul to keep. There's no soul to save. It's just this. Simply this. And nothing outside of this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have any questions, please go ahead. You can raise your hand. You can just jump in and make a comment or something. Or you can, on the chat there, you know what? I can't see the chat. Just a moment, okay? There we go. Leela goes, hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Finally free from karma, reincarnation, accumulation of any sort on behalf of a separate entity. Yes. Yes, a lot of spirituality. Well, spirituality basically is the concept that there's freedom from karma, reincarnation, anything that seems to appear is already free. It's already this, right? So there's just this conceptual idea of what it should be when it's already appearing clearly, obviously, simply as this. Hi, Cheryl. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I was just listening to what you were saying, and it's nothing new to me. I've heard this kind of thing before, but I still have a lot of confusion about it.
Okay, yeah.
Because I guess that if there is nothing, what is the point? I mean, if people are an illusion, like you're kind of saying that this is like a dream, right?
Yes, yes, like a dream. It's all a
Okay.
fantasy. But for no one. But for no one, it's not. It's there's nothing behind it. But go ahead, Cheryl.
So then is it a game?
It's kind of like a game. It's really unknown. There's no one here that knows anything. As I said, in the immediacy of this disappearance, there's this appearance of something happening, but it's really nothing happening. And the ongoing story that
Mhm.
there is something that I can figure out, that there's a purpose, that there's meaning, that there's something that I can do, that I have a soul, that I have this meaning, and all that kind of stuff is just noise. It's just this distortion in what's already appearing as clearly as it is, as nothing is everything. Everything is nothing. And it's not about and it's hard to decipher that
It
because
really is.
it really is. So what's being expressed here is not about understanding it. It's not about figuring it out. It's not a
Mhm.
clever way. There's no secrets here. There's no riddles here. This is not a puzzle. So everything is appearing as it is, and there's this story that appears, of what it is, what it should be. That's also as it is. So for example, if someone is looking for meaning and purpose and everything, that's also what's appearing, but it's really nothing. And I like using the dream analogy. It's kind of like in a dream, like a dream. When there's dreaming at night happening for no one, everything seems to have a meaning, purpose, or whatever definition, or nothing at all. It could be a funny dream, it could be a nightmare. It seems absolutely real.
Mhm.
But the moment that it's seen through, meaning that when there is this waking up, although no one woke up, everything that seems to be held onto, everything that seems to be believed or felt vanishes completely.
So, okay, in a way, I can understand that because
Mm-hmm.
one night I dreamt that I was having a surgery or something, and there was a nurse beside me, and everything was so
Yeah.
detailed and real that, and somebody had said, well, this is just a dream, right? And then I looked around and I was thinking, how could this possibly be a dream? It's just as real can be. And then the nurse said, it's not, yeah, it is real. And then she winked.
Yes, that's what it
And
is. It's real with the wink. But go ahead. But go ahead. Sorry.
so then, I mean, that is important to have a dream like that. That's something to, you know, it seemed like a clue. But if there is nothing, then there was absolutely no point in me having a dream. It was just like uh I nothing just sounds like meaningless to me.
Yes.
It sounds scary.
Yes, because there is this perception of what nothing is. There's this understanding of what nothing is. There's this dualistic thinking of what nothing is. And even the imagine of what nothing is also a thought. So what's being expressed here is not a thought, it's
Mhm.
not an idea, it's nothing at all, but nothing cannot be figured out
Mhm.
because there's no one to figure it out. And then when I'm saying that nothing is synonymous with everything, it's hard to. This is nothing. This is nothing speaking. This is nothing appearing. There's nothing going on. Nothing is everything. Thank you, Shelley. There is just this appearance of everything. There's appearance of this fullness in this emptiness, and it's hard to imagine. But for something to appear, it has to be nothing. There has to be nothing. For everything to appear, there has to be nothing. For this fullness to appear, it has to be this emptiness. It's appearing simultaneously, but to the apparent independent individual that thinks that there is something, it sees in separation. It can only function in separation because that's
Mhm.
that's the illusion. The illusion is so real that it looks like an apparition or look like a mirage. Like sometimes you go, the way that mirage is. I'm just going to mute someone here. There we go. Kind of like a mirage. There's a water scene, and then you rush to go to the water, thinking that it's water, but it's not really water.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this. So this is emptiness. This is 99.99% empty, and there's nothing here. But seemingly in this dream-like apparition, illusory existence that does not exist at all, there's this realness. It's an effective illusion because it feels absolutely real, like a dream at night when it feels. But sometimes at night, at dream, there's a lucidity to it.
Mm-hmm.
So the seriousness in accepting everything as real, my thoughts, my feelings, my sensations, everything, that whole package, you know what I'm saying, of the holding a glass, talking to someone, hearing, listening, understanding, anxiety, is this appearance of separation in what is whole.
And why does it appear?
There's no why. It's just appearing. It's a mystery. No one knows. It's this mystery. It's this illusion that appears for no one. But when there's no one, everything is just seen clearly as it is. This is just a happening. Nothing to figure out, nothing to know, because this is just is. And that's when this apparent unconditional freedom that is being expressed here is because there's nothing to know anymore. There's nothing to figure out. Because the one that's trying to figure out, the one that's trying to know, is the apparition, is the illusion. So everything that it sees is an illusion. So there's this apparent radical acceptance for no one that everything is just as it is. The unreal, real, appearing as this.
I guess it's, but then aren't we trapped?
There's no one trapped. There's no one trapped. There's
no
this.
To be trapped.
Yeah, there's no one trapped. There's this idea that there's this is a trap. This is like a circular, never-ending loop of desiring of what is and what's not. So that's the illusion. When it's seen that that's just a running, I think someone's echoing there. There's this. I think Cheryl, you have another. Maybe you have two gadgets opened. You have a phone
No,
or no? Okay, I don't know
I don't
where
think
that
so.
echo is. Sorry about that. Um, so there's this appearance of this never-ending wheel of this and that separation, you and me and everything. But when there is this seeing that that's just running by itself, that there's no input in doing that, that there's nothing, no one doing any of this, like a dream. There's no one running the dream. There's no one running the show. There's no one driving the car. There's no one at the steering wheel. It's just happening by itself. Then there's this bewilderment and wonderment. I'm like, oh, wow. This is nuts.
But okay, then maybe that's a belief. Maybe that is just taking on another belief.
That seems to be that way, but there's no one believing you anymore. Everything that's appearing is just happening simultaneously and automatically. It doesn't come from this belief that it doesn't come from any history anymore. Any history or any memory is seen as non-existent, as an apparition. So when I always explain it this way. It's like a flimsy house of cards, right? This illusion, this apparent appearance. When one is knocked out, meaning the card holder that holds everything, the holder of time, the holder of, belief, understanding. So when that's knocked out, everything that's temporarily seen is seen as unreal, and there's just this permanence, and that permanence is this emptiness, this wholeness, this nothingness, and it can't be explained.
And that feels like permanence.
It's not a feeling. It's not even a feeling. It's not a feeling. It can't be described. So that's why there's no one has ever been able to describe this fully, because it's any describing is just another illusion. It's just another bullshit, basically.
Mm.
So this is just as it is, and that's just the most honest that I can say. It's just as it is. As it is. Whatever seems to be appearing is already it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's stunning. It's stunning. It's just this obviousness, this intimacy of what's happening without any separation.
But couldn't it be that what you are seeing or what you experience is something, is a belief that you have taken
See,
on,
see what
that
was
you
what, so what seems to have happened that never really happened is the believer is dead. The one that knows anything is not here. So what's seen is that this appearance of this character speaking is just an appearance, and it's not a belief, because there's no more believer. The belief is the one that died.
and that's not painful.
Um in the apparent story, in the apparent story, the tumbling down of beliefs was quite painful.
Mm-hmm.
Was quite and it's just a story. None of this is. It was very challenging, because there was this investment in all the belief system, the
Mm-hmm.
belief in eternal soul, the belief in karma, the belief in selfless service, and the belief. So it's invested in a belief system. So when that belief system was seen as bankrupt, as seen as empty, then there was this going back and forth and saying, well, that can't be true then, that there's nothing here. So it always goes back into this belief and that belief. So what's being expressed here is the absence of belief.
Mm.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you lost. Yeah, you lost yourself.
There
You
was,
said.
it's seen that there's never been anyone
Mm-hmm.
in the first place, since there's no time. So in the absence of time, there's never been anyone here.
Mm-hmm. See, I want to believe that. Like, I can't believe whatever I want to see that.
It doesn't work that way, though.
No.
Then it just becomes another dogma, right? Just another understanding. And this is not about understanding anything. This is actually the absence of everything. This is like deep sleep.
Mm.
This is the blackout. When the blackout, when on the deep sleep, that there's nothing, no thoughts are appearing, no you. And then when it's seen that the you that's appearing, the thoughts that are appearing, is also emptiness, is also deep sleep. And it just sees wholeness, not sees separation anymore, because there's no one, there's no subject and object anymore.
Mm. So that's a huge shift
For no
for
one,
us.
though. For no one. But everything seems to be just as it is. It's not this fantastical kind of like, I joke around this, that Buddha did not come out of the woodwork and say, here's your diploma, or you get lifted out. It's nothing like that, because everything is as it is already. Everything is already complete. And there's nothing missing and there's nothing lacking.
Okay, but I am definitely, in a way, desiring that, even though it does sound kind of painful, and
Yeah, yeah.
we're all here because
Yeah.
we're desiring it.
Yes, the desire is circular, right? So there's the desire that just keeps on desiring, and then all of a sudden it doesn't want any more desire. So it's just this illusion. So when it's seen that the one that's desiring and the desires are both illusory, it's still happening. There's still a desire to eat chocolate or whatever, but it's just what's happening.
Mhm.
It's not the identity anymore. There's no identities anymore.
And so how did that happen for you? Or what is the
It didn't
way?
happen to me.
No.
It never happens. There's no time. So what's seen is that there's an absence of time, that this is just timelessness, that all that there is this. And then when it's seen that when there's this apparent death of the character, that there was never anyone that existed in time and place. All of this existence, this apparent reality, is also this non-existent and non-reality appearing as this, as it is.
So, but something must have, um, what? Something must have instigated the
Not really.
apparent
No,
death.
no, no. This is not caused
Was
by anything. No,
sudden?
no. There's
No?
no time for this to happen to. Right. This doesn't really happen in time. It's
Oh,
just seen.
God.
Yeah. There's no time.
Mhm.
This is timelessness appearing as time. So to say that it was caused by something, it's an illusion. It's just another illusion. Right? So what's being expressed here is that this never happens to anyone because there's no one for it to happen to. And this is always just this way. That there's really no one here. There's this illusion that there is this character speaking and talking, but in the immediacy and the directness of this is just really nothing happening.
Okay. And when you say that there's nothing happening and nothing is everything,
Yeah.
it's
Like deep sleep.
that's
Like deep sleep when you're in just like deep sleep, just like dreaming.
mm,
Deep sleep and dreaming at the same time. Like in dreaming, there's nothing happening, but it seems like there's something happening, but really it's nothing happening. That's
mhm.
what's being expressed here.
Okay. So, like lucid dreaming, then you know.
This is lucid dreaming.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's seen that there's nothing happening. There's lucidity in this.
Is it the same thing as sort of living on like a razor's edge?
Not
Like
really. That's
just
just another
in the
idea,
moment?
right? There's no moments.
Mhm.
There's just this. I can't even express what this is, and no one can, for that matter. It's just this appearance that it's as it is, and there's nothing outside of this.
Yeah, I guess that sounds so separate,
No,
even though
not
you're saying
really.
it's not. Yeah.
This is whole, and there's nothing outside of this. This is just as it is. This wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing missing here. That's not
Oh,
incomplete. That's whole.
oh,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Carolyn. Hi, people from YouTube. I'll answer your question in a moment, but I'll go to Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn. How are you doing?
Oh, hello, Emerson. I'm doing
Hello.
fine. Good to speak to you.
Good to speak to you too.
It's
Good
been
to
a
see
long
you.
time. Yeah, very good to see you. Well, I'm not seeing you, but anyway, I'm still very much in the story anyway. So I still believe in Caroline and
Yeah,
separate Caroline from the rest of the world,
yeah.
etc. Anyway, just to share an idea that occurred to me, I don't know, last night or something like that. You know Byron Katie?
Yes.
Yeah, well, she said, I heard her several times saying to people, have you had breakfast this morning? And people usually say, oh, yes, where's your proof? Oh my God, you know, there is a bug. And I thought, well, um, do you think people can die? Where's your proof, basically? Where's your proof? Oh, I had a cat. He died, I don't know, several years ago. Where's your proof? Well,
Yeah.
you have pictures of him, extra, but it doesn't prove anything because it's
No.
just right now.
That's
You
right.
have a picture right now, but it doesn't prove that the cat existed at one point. So how can you say death exists, basically?
It doesn't exist.
That's my sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for my English.
No worries.
It's my point, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
There is no proof that
There's no
death
proof. Yeah.
exists. So
And there's no one to prove to.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's the difficult part, you know. if there is no one can die, of course.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
you have to see. Well, you don't have to anything, but it has to be seen that there is no one to accept that.
It's always seen that there's no one.
It's always seen.
It's always seen that there's no one. Yeah. Yeah. There's
Okay.
this appearance of someone, but it's also seen as no one.
It is seen as no one. That's
Always.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Infinitely no one.
Well, it sounds much better said like that.
Yeah.
Infinitely much.
It's like twisting the knife a little bit further.
Yeah. Wow. That's really good. That's really good. Anyway, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Carolyn. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see
Sorry,
you
it
again.
was. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
No worries. I'll get to you, Angel, and people on YouTube and MK. But I have Tej. Hi, Tej. Hello.
Hi, Emerson. How are you
Hello.
doing?
Excellent.
I had
Excellent.
a question, Emerson, that keeps coming up. What happens to relationships when this is seen clearly? Like family or other relationships?
First, what relationships? Just as it is. As it is. Whatever seems to be appearing is as it is. Right? There's this talking to someone. It's just appearing as it is. So there's nothing fast forward. There's no future. This is just as it is. So in the apparent dream, if there is some argument, if there is, when it's seen lucidly, that there's no one arguing, then there seems to be, there might be a reaction. The reaction might be, okay, let's not argue, or whatever seems to appear, but there's lucidity in seeing that there's nothing happening. So there's no investment in it. And it's really cold to say that. It's really, really cold to say that, but it goes both ways, right? There's no investment in this anger. There's also no investment in this specialness of whatever it is.
When you say investment, you're saying
The investment in the other.
or
Investment in the relationship, yeah.
You're saying basically there's no recognition of another.
It's just appearing as it is. It's just appearing. So for example, I hug my mom, I love her very much. That's just what's appearing. And that's just what's appearing, but there's no one there. It's like a dream, right? In a dream, when there's lucidity, it's happening, but it's not happening at the same time.
And like in a dream, things just evolve and they do whatever they're doing.
That's right. Yeah.
But you are not getting in to try to do something. It's just
It's just happening. No investment in the idea that you are doing any of this. It's just automatically appearing as it's like a Sim City. I don't know if you've seen that game, right? It's just everything is just walking by itself with no apparent people inside. It's just like a simulation, but no one is simulating it. It's just this appearance of everything happening all at once and seemingly appearing separately, but it's appearing all at once.
But there's even one more difference than a dream, because in dream there's still like a conception of you watching what's happening, but in this case I presume there's not
no
even
witness.
that.
No, there's no witness.
Yeah.
So that's the witness is another thought, right? There's a lot of and then to go back to what my opening is, that seems to be the soul, or the awareness, right? It just morphs into awareness or consciousness. There's no other. There's no witnessing, there's no observing, there's no abiding. It's just complete, whatever it is. The idea of abiding might come up, but that's also completion. But it's just an idea. The witnessing is just another thought, observing a thought, a thought, reflecting a thought. Nothing else. It's really nothing.
Yeah, it's even devoid of that witness. Unlike sleep, it's happening by itself and there is no witnessing.
Exactly. It's just wholeness. It's a whole dream. This is a whole dream, but there's no dreamers.
So relationships can then therefore actually get affected? Because if the other person is not in the same place.
Not really, because you know what, again, and I joke around this, the first rule of non-duality is you don't talk about non-duality. The second rule about non-duality is you don't talk about. It's going to be insane if someone you tell someone that I love you, but I know that you're not there. It's not going to go well.
I don't mean about talking about it, but if, let's say, in one case they have seen clearly and the others have not, there's bound to be a difference in the dynamics of the relationship, don't you think?
Or not. Whatever's, it's, everything is allowed to appear as whatever, as it is, right? So seemingly my friendships are really beautiful, you know, saying I have really good best friends, but there's also some other best friends that have fallen away. Mostly people from this spiritual community, right? Or because there's just really no seeking here anymore. So they just enjoys going to a pub, playing whatever, watching TV. There's just this natural enjoyment, not trying to attempt into something, not having a spiritual friends to raise the vibrations, if you know what I mean, right? Everything is already as it is. Or, you know what I'm saying, there could be just a tolerance of all of this crystals and tarot cards. It's just what's happening.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. There are Anita. How are you, Anita?
Hi, Emerson.
Hello.
Yeah, there is more peace.
Hmm.
But there is a boring dream, kind of. Boring.
Well, boring is just another label of something that cannot be labeled, right? So when there is a perceiving of what it is, that's just another illusion. Boring is an illusion. Excitement is an illusion. Ecstasy is an illusion. Everything is an illusion. It's just this emptiness appearing as boredom, appearing as excitement, appearing as whatever it seems to appear as. It's non-existent.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll get to you, Karen, but I have a bunch of questions here from YouTube. Thank you, MK. Hi, Helen. Hey, Joan. Angel. Emerson, so if there's a thought here of disagreement with an apparent other, the apparent other really doesn't exist because the story, nothing exists. So I'm basically arguing with nothing. You can say that there's just argument happening. It's like in a dream, there's just this argument happening, but it's not really, it's lucidly, no one is arguing. It's just appearing as an argument. Laura goes, as it is, with 2 S's. Kim goes, why is everybody so serious? Chris goes, why not? Why not? Yeah, it's just what's happening. There's another question here. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah? Okay. There's something happening with the streaming. Sorry about that. If you guys want to join, you can join the Zoom. I'll post the thing here. Sorry. There's another meeting after this. You can go to the website to register if you like. If not, that's completely all right too. A question here goes, yes, there isn't an angel or me either. All stories and words, yes. There's just this appearance of this seemingly persistent illusion that everything that I feel, talk to, is this reality. But the one that perceives the reality is an illusion. So it's illusion all the way down. Illusion after an illusion. Saeed goes, everything is illusion, but it's not something negative or something to get rid of. Yes, totally. Because it's just an illusion. So why get rid of it or get it? It's just an illusion. Hi Carolyn.
Hi again.
Hello.
Sorry for talking again.
No
I'd
worries.
like,
No one's doing it. There's no choice.
I'd like to share an experience, but it's a story, I know, but I'd like to share an experience I had last night, basically, where I saw very clearly, where I imagine it was clear enough anyway, to realize that everywhere I looked at, I was just looking at myself, basically. There is nothing outside of
Yes.
of that.
Of this. Yeah.
Of, um, everywhere I looked at, everything I can hear, basically, is me, because there is just me.
It's
That's
just
it.
me.
That's,
Yeah. That's you can also say that it's me and there's no me at the same time.
yeah.
Everything is an illusion. So there's this seeing of wholeness, that there's just this illusion of me perceiving everything. Everything that I think of, everything that I see is just this illusion.
Yeah.
But if you when it's seen that there's no me, then everything just becomes this unknown illusion. This happening. There's just this immediacy of this wowness, of this amazingness that is not coming from a source, not coming from anything. It's just this nakedness, this
Yeah.
this everything. There's no separation here. And then the moment that it tries to get to be understood as or defined or put into words even, then it becomes this conditional my stuff, my seeing, my illusion. But there's no you to have an illusion because it's an illusion all the way. Yeah.
It appeared as well that the thing. Let's just talk about the thing. The thing was not coming from here. I could make a distance between what I call Caroline and the thing, basically. Well,
That's just an idea, right? That's just an idea. That's just an idea of separation again, because there's no Caroline in what you're seeing. They're not independent. It's just seeing altogether with no seer behind it. It's just this complete seeing. Like this. There's this seeing. And even that word is quite inept on trying to express it, right? Because it seems to come from an individual or something, but there's no individual. It's not even just a seeing. This, I can call it this everythingness. Seeing, feeling, sensations, hearing, smelling. This everythingness that is apparently happening, but it's just very incomplete what we're talking about here, right? Because it's as it is, but you can't really describe everything as it is. We can attempt. We can
because
attempt.
you don't know what
I
it
have
is,
no
basically.
idea. I have no idea what is happening because there's no one here that knows. And that's the admission here, is that there's no one here, so no one knows. There's no concepts here, there's no beliefs here, because everything that is appearing or everything that's coming out is unknown.
And it seems so serious. You have no idea.
It's nothing serious at all. If you see like an infant or a baby, right? That's what it is. It's just seeing everything as it is without any interpretation of it.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I'm not really sure what happened with the YouTube. Sorry about that. But here we are. I'll just post this later, I guess. There's seeming kind of like I don't know what happened there, but okay. Not sure. But thank you for letting me know. Shelley goes, it has been seen that all characters have a storybook, and the storybook is made of beliefs, and it's all an illusion. Yes, and the storybook, the pages are empty. It's blank. What seems to appear in the story is just appearing immediately. So there's no chapter 2 or chapter. It's just this really book without any words or anything. Everything is just appearing in its immediacy. And Shelley goes, the reason a belief is an illusion is because it's all made of emptiness. It's all empty. Illusions and emptiness are the same thing. The same exact thing. So what is longed for doesn't exist. And what is appearing doesn't exist. So what you're looking for doesn't exist, and what you're seeing doesn't exist. So you're looking at what you're looking for. Yeah, sorry the YouTube is down. I don't know what to do. But there's a recording and I'll just release it later. Not sure what happened with YouTube, but this was just for the first meeting. There's three days of this meeting. If you go to the website emersonnonduality.com, I'm not sure. I'm trying to see here. It says that there's no signal, but it goes waiting for signal. I'm not sure. But thank you for letting me know. Can we see everyone is Buddha already, Emerson? There's no Buddha. There's no Emerson. There's no everyone. That's an idea of separation. Hi, Forrest. How are you doing? So basically right now, only a story is going on or being told. Yes. There's no right now to even that is a story. So this is just disappearance of this. This is the infinite expression of infinity appearing as this, whatever it is as it is. So this is infinity appearing as whatever, appearing as a story, appearing as whatever. So it's a singular illusion, but not solipsism. No, because there's no self. And there's not really a singular as well. It's not singularity, it's unknown, right? So there's no one here. Solipsism basically is based from a self, and there's no other self. There's just one self. So this is not two, not one, without opposites, unknown. So there's no one here and there's no others. So can we say everyone is already in the Buddha land? Everything is as it is already. You can say that this is already home. You can say that this is already homelessness. You can say that this is already paradise. But everything that you say about this obscures it. Any idea like Buddha land or paradise or whatever obscures it. You can also say that, but unconditional Buddha land, unconditional paradise, unconditional heaven. The moment there's conditions, it's hell. It's duality. There's others, there's you, there's this hierarchy, there's differences. That's duality. And it's kind of like hell. And there's no Buddha land, yes. There's nothing at all. So this is just as it is. This is as it is, that's appearing as an illusion of separateness, appearing as this grand show of everything, but it's really nothing. I'm stuck in solipsism OCD. It's so annoying. I look at my parents and they are empty suits. Again, you know what? The moment that this becomes an understanding, the moment that this becomes a knowing, then it becomes stuckness. Knowing becomes circular. I know I don't know. I should know more. It's just this never-ending loop of this someone that's knowing or not knowing or understanding. It's just this mess, right? So what's being expressed here is not trying to understand it or trying to know it, because it's not about knowing, it's not about understanding, it's not about figuring it out, because there's nothing to figure out. There's nothing to figure out. It's kind of like a baby that's an infant. Everything is just, it reaches for the red, it just sees everything as it is. When it's hungry, it eats. When it's hungry, it cries. When you stick your tongue out, it laughs. Just like this. Because looking at your parents as an empty suits is just another story. There's a seeing, though, that there's no one here. So everything is seen as just this lucidity, dreaming. And there's no characters around. Sorry, someone's messaging me from that they want the YouTube back. Sorry about that. Okay. Hi, Emerson said there's no contracts. No. There's no before and after. And who made a contract? It's, again, all of this, a lot of, in the stuckness in spirituality that this character was in, was just this fantasy that there's something better than this. So it tries to do practices, it tries to do affirmations, it tries to manifest things, it tries to do all of this stuff, and reads books about these contracts. There's tons of books about escaping this. So this is kind of like a straight up saying that this is it. There's nothing outside of this. And anything kind of like ascension or all of that stuff is just a fantasy. And there's nothing wrong or right about fantasy. It's quite fun. But sometimes we get caught up in these ideas of what should be. Then we think that we have control. Then there's this belief that I am controlling things, that I am manifesting things, that I have, that I control my destiny. But life is appearing as it is. But for no one. It's also a fantasy that I am here. Yes, but there's no one here. Yes. I've heard you say there is no memory. Can you expand on that? I can see that memory appears now and now only, but for me there is memory. So there are labels in what's appearing, all of these sensations, all of these thoughts about, yesterday I was doing this, but there's no past. This is timelessness appearing as this. This is the past, the present, and the future all at once. So the memory that pops up right now about yesterday is just appearing. And there's no yesterday that happened, because all that there is this. There seems to be a continuity, but that's the illusion. there's a question here. So no one's controlling the body, like body moving by itself for no reason, just body seemingly seeking for happiness, but it's at home already. Can we say, yeah? So this is just this automatic happening, this sound appearing, this talk happening. No one's controlling it. It's like breathing. It's like heart beating. Everything that appears, there's no control. And non-duality with the two. So my parents have their own inner worlds. There are no parents. There are no inner worlds. So all that there is this, and there's nothing outside of this. I can't jump into someone's reality or someone's world, someone's thought. It's not possible. So all that you perceive is all that there is. But there's multiple perceptions here, but there's only one perceiving it. There are no separate individuals. There's no separate worlds. There's no separate illusions. There are no others. Because if this is an illusion, then everything that it perceives is also an illusion. Even the perception that they have their own inner world is also illusory. Meaning it's also not happening. Meaning it's also deep sleep. Meaning it's also completely empty. It's just this appearance of fullness and everything is empty. Like a dream. Like when there's dreaming happening, there is this perception that there is others. But you can't jump into someone's dream and say, hey, who asked that question? Non-duality. I was in your world last night. Did you remember that? No, it doesn't happen. Because there's only this apparent singular dream. And it's not even singular because it's not even real. It's not even happening. In a dream, everyone is you. In the dream, there is actually no you. There's the dream of you, but there's no you. It's a dream, it's not real. So there's no you because it's a dream. Oh, hi, Cheryl. Please go ahead.
Hi again.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So kind of there's no sense in worrying about things.
So repeat that again.
There's no sense in worrying about climate change and
if worrying happens,
like
it happens. There's no, everything is just happening and there's no one controlling. So if worrying about climate change, if picking up the trash happens, if recycling happens, that's what's happening. There's nothing wrong or right about that. At the same token, there's also others that don't care about climate change and litters every day. That's also an illusion.
So
yeah, but there are no others and there's no you. So whatever seems to happen there, although there's no there, is just what's happening. So if and I explain this all the time, for example, if this character has it recycles, although there's no world, no universe, no existing at all, it's just happening automatically. If this character sees someone starving on the street, it will offer food, although there's no one there.
Okay, so is there suffering? There
No.
appears to be suffering.
There appears to be suffering when there's this apparent pain happens, anger happens, frustration happens, but for no one. But it doesn't stick because there's no one to stick to. It's just the immediacy. For example, if someone steps on my foot, I'll be like, what? If my brother pushes me, I'm like, what the hell, man? It's just a reaction. But there's no one doing that. So there's no one suffering because there's no one that holds on to it. It doesn't go into this circular loop of suffering. Of this is happening to me. Why is this happening to me? There's no story behind anything. and everything is seen as a story. So the
Okay,
drama
so
queen, the drama person has died.
Mhm.
There's no investment in drama anymore because it's what's the point?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Huh. So if you appeared to get sick, I guess you just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
What
just
would you
this
do?
taking medicine might happen, lying down might happen.
Yeah.
But there's no woo me. Why is this happening to me? You know? There's no it's just a happening.
Okay.
It's not everything is, you know, there's this misconception about this communication as a um bypassing. This is not
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
bypassing. This is about actually the acceptance of everything of the character. Right? The character is absolutely unconditionally free, meaning that it reacts to whatever. It's not about trying to be serene or trying to be this saint or something.
Mhm.
Um, it's just what is. It's as it is, right? Again, if character recycles, it recycles. If it eats beef, it eats beef. If it eats vegan, it eats vegan. If it meditates, it meditates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because no one is doing it. There's no more investment in the character and trying to be something else that it's not.
But you would still have a draw towards doing things that are pleasant, give you pleasure, right?
Well, there's no one here. There's no one here. So there's this apparent happening that it will, of course, choose a comfy bed over a bed of nails. It's just natural, right? It's like a child. It's like a child, basically. The child, for example, is easy to cry, easy to laugh. Like an infant sometimes that reaches out for bright colored stuff. There's this bewilderment and cries when it's hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just an automaticness of happening, but no one is doing it. There's no one behind it.
Yeah. Wow. Very interesting.
It's just the naturalness. This is not a fantasy idea or a romanticized idea of what enlightenment is, right? Because enlightenment is also seen as a dream.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a state. There's no states. This is
Mm-hmm.
as it is. Um, I did the enlightenment gig as spiritual teacher for a while, and that was suffering because it was
Yeah.
maintaining something of being blissful, of being compassionate, of maintaining this apparent blissfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the character was trying to fit into clothes that doesn't fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was this the illusion of enlightenment is being maintained by doing illusory practices to maintain this facade that
Mm-hmm.
there's this superior, um, compassionate being that wants to help others to be compassionate, superior beings.
Right.
Yeah. So that's, and then when he was not, when he was not, when it was encounters, for example, if there was some worry about my mom or my family or going to a breakup, it was trying to maintain that stillness, trying to maintain that
Yeah.
equanimity, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is suffering. I don't care who it is. If there is if your mom gets sick, you know what I'm saying, I don't care how holy the apparent person is. There is this, so it's free. It's not, it's again, you know what I'm saying, there's this idea that this is about bypassing. Actually, it's the opposite. This is the full acceptance of whatever's happening as it is.
Mm. Okay.
Because
So you.
there's this radical unconditional freedom of whatever appears is what appears. There's no
Okay.
one controlling it. There's no one trying to avoid it. There's no one trying to be holy and putting on a robe, um,
Mm-hmm.
and saying all of this wise stuff. When I got sick, I took a break. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When my dog died, I cried and stayed in bed. But there's
Mm-hmm.
no one crying in bed. You know what I'm saying? There's this sadness that was shared. When there's this pristine idea of what this should be, then that's a facade. because
Okay.
what is appearing is this dualistic expression of wholeness, and it can appear ugly. It can appear as, depressing or serious, or it can appear blissful. It can appear as anything. That's what unconditional freedom is. That's what unconditional love that is being expressed here. It's as it is. And that's when there was this comparison to what I thought it was about 12, 15 years ago, was the maintenance of this highly evolved being that helps others to
Yeah.
liberate themselves, and
Yeah.
and this selflessness. But even selflessness reinforced that there was a self to begin with.
Right.
So it
Right.
goes in this circular motion.
That makes sense.
So when there's this apparent heaviness of the self, then there's this practice of, how do I get rid of this self?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I do
Yeah,
more
exactly.
do I do more meditation? Do I do more, should I read more Sanskrit? Should I read more scriptures? I need some guidance, that kind of thing. So
Right.
it's trying to be this ideal deity, or this ideal state
Yeah. Yeah.
that is actually not. It's conditional freedom. This expression of this character is as unique as the expression in these different characters. Like the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything else is in this apparent dream of illusory, fragmented individuals. So this character is going to appear as it is, as
Okay,
fragmented as it is. Yeah.
So if somebody you love
It's not a cookie
dies,
cutter. It's not a cookie cutter of what enlightenment should be, because that's the dream idea of what enlightenment is.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
And there's no such thing as an enlightenment anyway. It's just a dream. It's just a concept.
Mm. So if something happens to you, like somebody dies, or like you said, your dog dies, you still feel the
There's no one here that experiences anything,
pain.
but there's sadness and grief that is just unfiltered.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite intense, right? When my aunt passed away, I think I've sobbed like I've never sobbed before,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no one holding back that character anymore. Not trying to be enlightened, or not trying to be this peaceful character. So if it was an ugly cry, it was an ugly cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what seems to appear, and this is just another story, is that after that explosive, crying, there
Mm-hmm.
seems to be this emptiness at the same time. There's this
Mm-hmm.
peacefulness in it happening.
Okay.
And there's no stuckness in, I should have called her more, or even if that appears, that's also seen as emptiness. But what seems to appear here, there's just this total goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
It was not held on to.
Right.
It was an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
I love that appearance. It makes me sad right now, right? Thinking about my aunt,
Mm-hmm.
because I love her. But it's not held on to as something that was, what do you call it again? That was personal. Does that make any sense? There's just this love that's unconditional.
Yeah.
There are no others. The love is empty.
Mm.
It doesn't have any conditions.
So you didn't look spiritually bypass it.
No. Again, you know what?
Felt it.
It's an easy argument, because the way that this is spoken to is that there's no one, there's no others. You know what I'm saying? But there's this. What was appearing is there's this wholeness. There's this wholeness, and what it means by wholeness is that everything is allowed to happen because there's no one controlling it. So it's a really poor argument, and there's it's a really, really poor argument. But since there's no one here that, you know what I'm saying, to argue it with, it's just what is, right? There's this and it's quickly diminished or dismissed as this bypassing, when and this is just a story. The apparent character knows other characters that speaks about this, and there's this life fully lived by no one.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. I'll have to think about that one for a while. take that one in.
Saeed goes, so how is this story is not a story? Everything is a story, Saeed. Everything that is happening is a story. This is a story. There's no exclusion in a story. Everything is a story. Again, when I usually start my talk, what's being suggested here, there's no truth. There's no reality. There's no definite. There's no landing. There's no kind of like, this is the ultimate thing. This is the absolute knowing. It's none of that. Because the absolute is just a story. Wisdom is another story. When there's just this emptiness, it's just empty.
And what about unconditional love? Is that
Unconditional love is just another label. That's why I added as it is. And it cannot be expressed really, because the moment that it cannot be really be thought of, because unconditional for a character that only thinks in conditions, it blows it up. It doesn't make sense. So unconditional love is a love that doesn't make sense because it's not independent, or it doesn't have any definition. It doesn't have any kind of how do you call it? Personalization. Yeah.
So
It's
is
not
there
personalized.
judgments?
Judgments appear. You know what I'm saying? For example, if this fruit is riper than this other fruit, then I'll pick the riper fruit. Everything is allowed. And this is not bypassing at all. So there's, I'm going to repeat it again, right? There's no one here to bypass. So everything is, it cannot avoid anything anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Question here from Saeed. Saeed, so does the story have a past and a future? Story is a story. It doesn't really matter if it past in a story, past or a future. It's just a story. So anything can appear in the story. But a story is a fictional story, is what's being expressed here. Because the one that is telling the story is also a story. So everything is a story, including this and that. Hey, Anita.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Yeah, about so you will say something like you can't avoid something.
No one can, because there's no one. Yeah, no one is it's all of this is disappearance is just this unavoidable expression of infinity. It's just appearing as what is, right?
Yeah. So
it's not about docking it or avoiding it.
No. Yeah. But you know, when I was working at the school, sometimes I was really touched by that what was happening, and but it looks like that. Yeah, I call it in this moment society or other people which are also nobodies.
Yeah.
They are asking questions. And then they are thinking it has something to do with the past.
Repeat that again. I didn't quite get that. So it doesn't make sense. But sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. So then I was touched, and for me it was really okay and wonderful also.
Yeah.
But then there came questions from my colleagues. So what has happened? Has it to do with you? Something happened in the past. And yeah, do you recognize that? And
when it's seen that there is no past and everything is just happening all at once, meaning that everything that you talked about is just happening at this apparent moment and it's not really happening at the same time, then it's seen that there's innocence in everything. Even innocence in your apparent reaction of what is. It could be anger, it could be frustration, it could be whatever. There's innocence in everything.
Yes.
And nothing is excluded from innocence.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
It's just wholeness appearing as whatever. It's innocent. The whole is innocent. When there's this separation, then there's this, you know, this or that, wrong or right, good or evil. But from a wider lens, all of that is just wholeness. Good or evil, wrong or right, past, future. It's just this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Why is Emerson so happy all the time? There's no Emerson. I just expressed it earlier that this character is free to be whatever it is. So it doesn't pretend to be happy, doesn't pretend to be sad. It's just what is. It's just happiness appearing. There's this enjoyment in speaking about nothing. There's this passion in speaking about this. There's this wowness in speaking. It's like this character loves DJing. So this is exactly like DJing. This is exactly like playing music. There's just because there's no one doing it. It's just this free flowing of this expression. But the character also gets sad. For example, as I expressed when my aunt passed away or my dog died, there was sadness. So what's being seen here is just this. It's kind of like I would never DJ when I'm sad. When I'm DJing, I'm always going up like this, you know, dancing up. This is the same. Oh, thank you. Hi, Emerson. Can you explain about this event that's happening right now? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, there's this event that's happening right now. It's a 3-day event. There's a live one in Toronto tomorrow and Sunday. It's 8 sessions altogether, 90 minutes. It's the event is it's really nothing, but it's apparently it's an exhaustion or starvation of the seeking. This is like hitting the wall over and over again because there's nothing that's being offered here. Oh, sorry. There's a question here. Unconditional freedom seems invincible to me. I don't know where it is, lol. Where it is then, or what is unconditional freedom? This is already unconditional freedom. This is already appearing. It's already. And it's just really simple. It's very, very simple that what's being expressed here is this completeness, this wholeness, this whatever seems to appear. It could be sadness. It could be frustration. It could be anxiety. That's unconditional freedom. There's this idealized version of what unconditional freedom is. Again, it's not the again, that idea of this unconditional freedom or enlightenment usually stems from, this is just a story because there's no history, usually stems from that early religious idea of going to heaven, salvation, redemption, or when it becomes spirituality, it's about enlightenment, awareness, consciousness, all of that kind of stuff. It's just an idea, it's just a fantasy of what is already available, what's already staring back at you. And there's no you and there's no one staring. It's just what is. It's just this immediacy. So what is being sought for is a fantasy, and what you're looking at is a fantasy. What is sought for is enlightenment. What you're looking at is enlightenment. What is sought for is awakening. This is already awakening, appearing as whatever. So there's no where it is, no how to get there, because it's already. What's being longed for is this undeniable appearance is this already. Oh, Cheryl, you have another question. Sorry, go ahead. Oh, thank you, non-duality. It's like hitting a wall. We're trapped in oneness. There's no one trapped in oneness. It's just wholeness. Hi, Cheryl.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I've been feeling like I'm getting older. My husband is getting older, and I've been feeling a lot of sadness because I've been looking at how beautiful the world is, especially in the summer and spring. And it all seems so bittersweet, and I get the feeling that things are going by too fast, and I could really get into anxiety and just a sense of loss about it, and dread too. So I guess if I can think, well, I mean, would you say there is no world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that you've ever thought of, heard, felt, imagined is this illusion.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just really simple. It's just
that
really
lets
simple.
me off.
And it's not about even believing it or disbelieving it. It's just what is, right? There's just this nothing appearing as everything. And this even deduct appearing as, we'll just say that nothing is everything. Let's deduct everything. I'll just say this is just nothing. And in the absence of thoughts and ideas, in the absence of imaginings or perception, it's really nothing. Like deep sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the peace that doesn't need understanding. And that's the freedom that doesn't have any boundaries. Deep sleep.
That's the peace that doesn't need
Any
understanding. And then what did you say after that?
I can't remember. It's the freedom that doesn't have any boundaries. It's not personal freedom, it's freedom as it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you at 5. I think right now in Toronto it's 3:30, so an hour and a half. And I'll open the breakout room so you don't have to leave. Bye.
Thanks, Emerson. The best.
Bye. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you. No one's here the best. No one's the best, but
Emerson. Thank you.
see you an hour and a half. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Love you all emptily.
Love you.
I'll open the breakout room and I'll stop the recording.